TV. Today I'm here with you. My name is Greta and I'm here with Tinny, the member of Bootleg Jazz. We're at the Cookie in Leicester. So first of all, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Could you please tell us a little bit about Bootleg Jazz, how it got its name, what does the name mean?
I think the idea of Bootleg Jazz, it came about really through a discussion amongst a few of us who are quite passionate about jazz. I'm not passionate in the sense that I know everything about jazz. I think that's for a lot of other people besides myself. But I think the idea was we're in a basement venue. It was kind of that nice sort of cosy feel to it, and something that was a little bit different to what was currently going on at the time within Leicester, in the Leicester scene. It's quite a static scene, and I think we've helped to sort of move the scene on a little bit further forward. And I think that kind of the after hours thing, I think it fits really well with it.
But what does the name mean?
I don't think it has any particular reference to any particular thing, not for me anyway. I think it was just a name that we just came up with, which suited the moment. I think that we used to do our own night at the Cookie called Jazz at the Job, but it was just, that was just a name for an event and a night. What we wanted to do, we wanted to develop the jazz that we were doing into a weekend event, almost pretty much like a festival, but rather than having that festival tag, it was kind of get something that was a little bit fresher, a little bit different, and a weekend event. We thought, and we still think, it was a nice way forward. And I think having that name, Bootleg Jazz, gave it a nice comfortable feel to it.
Yeah. What about the musicians and bands that you have recently had here? What kind of bands do you have?
Well, I think what we tend to do is to go for, younger musicians. I think that's been really important, is to look at the young aspect of musicianship. And I think it's underestimated that a lot of the up and coming musicians, particularly in Leicester, are very young. I mean, people like Marcus, Mike Soul, Flat Five, which is essentially a jazz label. These are all jazz musicians, and these are coming through. But I think what you have to do is mix it with a lot of other stuff of people who've been in and around on the scene. And you look at people like Carol Lehman and Malabaku, who have got a lot of experience within the circuit, within the city centre. And I think my aim is not really to always look to that market, it's look at something fresh that's coming through. Because for me, it's really important that we bring through other people, into that ambience. Because let's face it, jazz gets a bad rap. It constantly gets a bad rap. It always seems a bit stuffy and so forth. Well, it's not. It was a way forward for a massive genre of music from just rock and roll and so forth. So it's got a good structure and a good sound base. And I think for musicians, a good musician is essentially a jazz artist, in my honest opinion, because jazz is free form. It's a very free thing, and I think all good musicians are able to do that. Are able to just play their instrument and provide. Yeah.
What about the most memorable gig that you had, the most successful?
Well, I think that the most successful thing for us as Bootleg Jazz, because we are a collective of people, it's not about the Cookie, it's not about Mellow or Racks and so forth. I think we put on the first jazz weekender for 13 years in the city centre. And we sold out every night, and we turned away probably 20, 30 people every night. To do that, for us, was quite astonishing. And we had a lot of help from the likes of Leicester Jazz House, who provided one of the nights there as well. So we were able to reach different audiences. We looked at something really contemporary, we looked at something very traditional, and something very modern as well. And we had this really nice mix and turning people away. So in a sense, that for me has been the most memorable thing with what we've achieved so far with the jazz. However, as far as individual gigs that we do on a Thursday night, for instance, having Flat Five in here last month was for me quite astonishing, because probably the average age in here was probably anywhere between 20 and 24, and it was a capacity. And that for me was quite interesting to see younger bands, younger artists bringing a younger audience and opening that audience's eyes to something a little bit different, what they wouldn't normally see. So there's that for me as well, has been really exciting. So there are lots of different things that have got different things, but I think if you looked at our first weekend, which was a roaring success, and I think a lot of people would tell you that, I think that for me would be the overall.
Okay. But let's say if money was not an issue, what kind of bands would you love to actually bring into one of the Bootleg Jazz events?
Well, I think the reality is, listen, I run a venue at the end of the day, but I don't run a venue because I'm into money. That's not what it was about. I think it's bringing in something that you think is going to appeal to your market or your target market that you have in your venue. I think, personally, I don't see that for me as my remit. You know, if I could have X amount of pounds, what would you bring in? Because, you know, I could say that to anybody. If I could give you, they'll say, yeah, I might bring that in, I want to bring that in, I want to bring that in, I want to bring that in. That for me is because I think different people bring different things. I can tell you now that because it's a funded art, jazz, there are artists who are on the circuit. Oh, I know you'll pay £600 for, but I know I could pick them up for £300. Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't decry that what they do. It's just that there is a certain value to it, but I think it's got to reflect to the audience that you've got. I think.
But yeah, if like let's say if money was really not an issue, as you said, it is not. What kind of bands would you love to bring here?
For me, it's about young people. It's about younger bands. I think for me, that's the most important thing to me. But again, I have to reiterate that the people I work with, we are a collective, and I don't know everything, and I wouldn't say I know everything, but I hear different things as I go along through what I do. It's very difficult for me to pinpoint exactly what I put on because, like I say, I'm not a jazz enthusiast. There are far more better people than I who could say X, Y, and Z. Put me in a different realm of music, that's very different. But jazz. But equal, I would say that money's not. It shouldn't be the issue. It shouldn't be the guiding thing. It shouldn't be the guiding principle. Obviously, you know, as a venue, I can't say, oh, I want £1,000 here because it wouldn't make any sense. Again, I would go with stuff. Princess Marcus to do a night. That would be really nice because I know Marcus, I know his music, and I appreciate what he does. Therefore, I'd really enjoy it. And Mike Soul, it's similar with Mike Soul. Now, I think, you know, I can't pay a great deal. I'd love to pay more, you know, and I think they're worth more because they're fantastically talented musicians. But I think,
talent is
talent's the most important thing.
What about the future? What holds? What kind of things holds Bootleg Jazz for the future? Sorry, what future holds for Bootleg Jazz?
Okay, I think, you know, for me, you know, I think I know where I want to go. I would like to go with it. I mean, ideally for me, I want a jazz festival. That's what I want. People know exactly where I stand on that. I think the city is a wonderful city, this city. I don't know much about the rest of the Midlands, but from what people are telling me, there's a thriving market of jazz musicians. But Leicester, we seem to be quite blessed with jazz musicians at the moment. We've got 30-odd events running a month at the moment within Leicester itself. And so that tells you a lot about what's going on within the city. So for me, it's about capitalising on that, looking at that and bringing it all together, because I would love nothing more than to bring everybody together, everybody to do their own programming, and that kind of really nice vibe where everybody's together on it and people are wandering around, much like the big jazz festivals in London and so forth. You know, that for me is my ideal.
Alright, so thank you very much for your conversation, and thank you guys, take care.
Hi, my name's Tinny, you're watching Leicester Jazz House TV.